Welcome to this comprehensive tutorial on the LNC MW2200 CNC controller. In this video, we'll explore all of its features and demonstrate how to use them to their fullest potential. We'll begin by resetting the emergency stop button by turning it clockwise, and then press the green on-off button. This powers up the machine and the screen will display the loading status. Once the system has finished loading, the main screen will show an alarm message indicating that none of the axes have been homed. This warning will appear every time the machine is turned on. Since the machine doesn't know the actual positions of its axes upon startup, it's essential to run the homing sequence. This step is critically important to establish the correct reference positions. Our first step is to click the OK button to dismiss the alarm messages. Then we should navigate to the lower middle section of the interface and click the ZRN button. It will turn yellow to indicate that the ZRN mode is active. While in the ZRN mode, we need to home each axis manually by clicking the corresponding axis buttons. We start by pressing the Z plus button, and you'll notice that a small square in the upper left corner of the button itself lights up green. This means that the Z-axis has begun moving upwards. It will continue to move until it reaches the limit switches. Once the axis triggers the limit switch, its movements will stop and the Z plus button will turn yellow. This indicates that the Z-axis homing process has been completed successfully. The Z-axis is always homed first, and after that we repeat the same process for the remaining axes by clicking the X- and Y- buttons. We need to wait until the buttons turn yellow, which indicates that the process for the homing of each axis is complete. And while the axes are moving, be sure to monitor the machine carefully to ensure that everything operates smoothly and safely. With the homing axis done, we can have a look at the interface of the controller and familiarize ourselves with its layout. We can segment the interface into three sections. A section which displays the coordinates of the axes and a preview of the G-code, a section for controlling the movement of the axes and the elements of the machine connected with the PLC, and a section containing the main tools and functions. In the coordinates section, there are windows displaying the absolute and the machine coordinates, as well as the remaining distance for the axis to travel when a program is loaded. The section for control contains all buttons for movement of the axes and dedicated buttons for all the elements of the machine, such as its positioning pins, the dust cover, the row magazine, the vacuum pumps, the dust collector, etc. And the section in the bottom area of the interface contains all the main functions, menus, and operating modes. The MEM mode, for example, is used when we load the program. The MPG mode is used for the hand wheel controller, and the jog mode is used when we're freely moving and positioning the axis through the controller. Our next step is to insert the USB stick with the previously prepared file in order to transfer it to the machine's internal database. After we've attached the USB stick, we need to navigate to the bottom section of the interface and select the MEM mode, after which we need to click the USB IMP or USB import button. After we click on it, a new window appears with two sections. The left section contains all the files that are currently in the controller's internal memory, and the section on the right contains all the files from the USB stick. We need to locate our file from the USB section and make sure that the white box in front of it is ticked and selected, after which we can click the button Send or press the keypad F6. With this, the machine transfers the selected file from the USB to internal memory, and after it's finished, it displays a notification that the transfer is complete. After this, we need to select and load our drawing, and to do this, we need to click the File button, which opens up a new window named File Management. And in this window, we have two sections, the File List and the File Preview. In the first section, we locate and select our file, and in the neighboring section we can preview the G-code, after which we need to click the OK button. With this, the software has successfully loaded the program, and in the upper left corner of the interface there is a field in which the name of the file is displayed, which is an additional indication that the file was loaded successfully. In the file preview section we can check the G-code, and if we want to make any changes we need to click the edit function in the lower left section of the interface. Our next step is to set up an origin point on our workpiece so that the machine has a reference from which it can execute the program. We begin by clicking the POS1 button, which activates the pneumatic positioners on the edges of the machine's bed. We use these positioners as a guide for us to set up the workpiece in a perfect corner, square with the gantry and the spindle. After we set up the workpiece, we can continue with setting up the 0 positions for the axes. We need to activate the jog mode and use the keypads X, Y, and Z to move and position the tool and the spindle in the adequate position. What I need to do is to use the X- and Y- buttons to move the spindle head in the bottom left corner, because this is where I set up the origin point for my design when I assigned the toolpaths and the toolpath operations. After we've made sure that the cutting tool is positioned right above the corner of the workpiece, we need to navigate in the setup window, which is located in the lower section of the interface right above ZRN, and click the option Teach In. After clicking it, additional options will appear in its place. The Set All, Set X, Set Y, and Set Z buttons. What we need to do with them is to click only the Set X and Set Y buttons. And with this we've defined the origin points for the X and Y axes. We left out the Z axis intentionally because we're going to set up its origin separately. A main indicator for successful zeroing of the axes are their coordinates in the field absolute, where their values should be 0.000 for both axes. Next step is to set up the origin point for the z-axis, and before we do that we need to turn on the vacuum pumps. It's important for the vacuum pumps to run before we set up the 0 position of the z-axis, because when the vacuum is engaged it will pull the workpiece downwards for a millimeter or more and fix its position on the working table. So we turn on the vacuum pumps by clicking the button VAC1 located in the right side of the interface, and then manually turn the physical vacuum pump switch in the running position. After this, we will use the jog or the MPG function to reposition the tool so that it barely touches the surface of the material. The MPG mode is used when we want to move or reposition the axis, but instead of using their designated buttons in the interface, we will use the hand wheel controller, which offers more precise and smooth movements. With the help of the MPG controller, we position the tip of the spindle tool on the surface of the material, all while the vacuum pumps are running. And after we are satisfied with the positioning, we need to navigate and click the ATM button, and then look for the option Z Set in the field above. After clicking the Z Set button, we have successfully zeroed the Z-axis. So if we wish to add a new tool never before used with the machine, we need to place it in the row magazine and navigate to the ATM button, where we will execute the measurement and calibration of the tool. In the empty field in the bottom right corner, we need to input the new tool's designated number. In my case, it's tool number 4. Additionally, the tool must be placed in the 4th position of the row magazine. After we input the number 4, we need to hit the enter button and click the button start. It's the first option located in the lower left corner. With this, the machine removes the tool inside the spindle and navigates to the assigned position, where it will pick up the new tool and bring it on top of the calibration and tool measurement sensor on the left side of the machine. The measurement process is automatic, and once it's finished we can continue with production. Once we've made sure that our design is loaded and all of our axes are zeroed, we can begin the production process by clicking the MEM button so that the machine enters the MEM mode. And we need to double check if our vacuum pumps are running and make sure that the dust collector is turned on. The only remaining thing to do is to press the start button, after which the machine will begin production. This concludes our short tutorial. I hope that you found this video helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!